extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 47 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am Craig L. Hayes. Hey, it is the 23rd. This can be the third podcast for the day on different subjects. Just felt in the mood today. You know, sometimes I don't feel like doing it. I haven't done one for like a week or something. But today I just feel in the mood to get out here and say some things and put my thoughts out there to the universe. Or at least to the people on this planet so they can listen to it. I don't know if anything we have to do, say, believe, think would be found to be of any interest to anybody else throughout this universe that God created. And I say God created just because I like to irritate those people who believe in the Big Bang and things like that. You know, they think that it all just happened because it happens. Oh boy, yeah, you're funny. You make me laugh. Anyhow, today's topic, this show's topic is going to be, wait for it, it's going to be about porn. I have your attention now, don't I? You're like, what? No, it's going to be about what I'm going to call conservative porn. What is it that gets conservatives like myself, a Mark Levin, Glenn Beck, others, what kind of porn, if you want to call it that, gets us excited? Constitutional conservatism, free market capitalism, that's our porn. That's the stuff we like, dig, and live for. Now, what is some of that conservative or constitutional conservative free market capitalism porn? Well, the first thing that could be done to make us excited and happy would to defund, shrink the size, scope, power, influence, and everyday interference in our lives by government, starting with the federal government. We're watching that happen as we go. And boy, does that make some of us excited. As we watch Elon Musk and President Trump go through and fire thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, close departments, save us money, put the money back into the treasury. Oh boy, does that make us feel good. We love that. Of course, Democrats hate it. Their money laundering systems are being cut off. Their funding systems for all their NGOs that just do nothing but fund Democrat candidates and are radical. Those are all being cut off. And of course, like we talked before, the first way they go about fighting this is going to be to terrorize people. Yeah, bring it on. You guys are pushing it, and you guys are going to get something you're not totally expecting. You're not going to want what you get, but you're going to get what you want. Anything we can do to shrink the federal government or state governments, local governments, take away their power, which means, people, please understand that, quit giving them money. We have to stop giving them money. It's not theirs, it's ours. The country, the Constitution, everything that goes on in this country is done for the people, not for government. And it should be that we understand that it's only what we allow the government to do. Not as Democrats believe that the government does what it wants to and will allow you to keep some of your money and tell you how to live your life. See the contrast? See the contrast in this? True constitutional conservatives believe if it's not in the Constitution. I'm a libertarian more than a Republican. I am not a Republican. I am a constitutional conservative libertarian. I am, however, a registered Republican just so I can vote in primaries. I know that's kind of weird, but that's just how I run. I am not loyal to the party. I am loyal to the Constitution, Bill of Rights, in the belief of liberty, freedom, and justice for all. Superman? No. But that's where I stand on that. We got to shrink it. We got to cut it back. We got to eliminate departments. There's many of these departments that aren't listed in the Constitution of the United States because in our founding documents, under Article 1, which talks about the legislature, it says exactly what can be funded. And right now, we're funding everything that isn't in the Constitution. So that's part of our conservative porn on what we do with the government. Eliminate all regulations on constitutional branches of government that are listed in the Constitution, because we do have a lot of things there's like 12 things the federal government is supposed to do. And so that's what we do. We go through those organizations, the ones that are listed there, the jobs that the federal government is supposed to do, and we go through them with a fine-tooth comb, making sure that they are efficient, they're doing the job they're supposed to do. We get rid of all regulations that aren't put in there by law. If it's put in there by some administrator, by somebody who works there at that agency, it needs to be stricken from the books because it's not law. It wasn't put in there by the legislature. Only the legislature and the President of the United States can put a law together. Not some bureaucrat, deep state bureaucrat. So we need to stop that. We need to get rid of all agencies not listed. And there's a bunch of them. And over time, it's going to take time to wind down a few of these because a few of them are so entwined in our country. But we've got to start doing it because the future of our children and grandchildren is bleak if we don't. So that's one of the things we have to do. What's another thing that we need to do? That's the conservatives just love the idea of, free market capitalists love. Eliminate the Federal Reserve. It's an unconstitutional agency. It is nothing more than a bunch of bankers, 12 banks, getting together and deciding, well, here's what the federal government's allowed to do with money. Here's what the interest that needs to be paid. Why? That's Congress's job. It clearly says that in Article 1 of the Constitution that Congress shall value the dollar. So if this is true, and we believe in the Constitution like I do, where the hell did this Federal Reserve come from? Politicians allowing somebody else to make decisions that can be deflected away from them. Letting the administrative state have more power than they should. It's very simple. Everything in the Federal Reserve should be shut down. Everybody that works in the Federal Reserve fired. Take the buildings that are the Federal Reserve uses and demolish them. It's been 112 years that we've had the Federal Reserve. In 112 years, their number one job was to protect the value of the dollar. In other words, not allow inflation to destroy our dollar. How did they do? Well, let's look at it. $20 in 1913 would basically get you the same thing that $3,000 would get you today. So how did they do? Pretty crappy job there. Another agency that needs to be shut down and gotten rid of. Congress, get your act together. How about this? How about we repeal the 16th Amendment? In other words, why don't we take and believe in the 13th Amendment? What I mean by that is, 13th Amendment outlawed slavery in this country. Some years later, 1913, Congress put forth, because of the Woodrow Wilson administration, an income tax amendment, which was ratified. Income tax is slavery. All income tax, no matter the amount, whether it's 1/1,000,000% of your income to 99.9999% of your income, it is slavery. Slavery is slavery regardless of the percentage. You can't be a little pregnant. And you can't be just a little slave. Or a little enslaved. Let's get rid of the 16th Amendment. Let's get rid of the 17th Amendment too. That amendment that cut the state legislatures out of the process of legislating in Washington, D.C., and created a popularity contest that we call an election for senators to Washington, D.C. 1913, another great year for the destruction of our dollar, for the enslavement of people, and for the disallowing of state legislatures to have a say in the legislative process in Washington, D.C. Now people can ask for and can usually get just about anything they want from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson and your Democrats of the early 1900s. Destruct, destroy, whatever we can do, because we know better than everybody. Some of the things we are seeing that we talked a little bit about is the elimination of all federal agencies not listed in the Constitution. We're watching this happen with the Department of Education. Department of Education, you're up first. Get rid of you right now. Thousands and thousands of employees, billions, trillions. What are we up to? $3 trillion spent by the Department of Education since 1979 when it was formed, created by Congress. We were in the top 5 educated peoples in the world in 1979. We're almost at the bottom. We're like number 69th or something like that in the world today. And yet people say we can't get rid of it because our kids won't be educated if we don't. Really? Well, $3 trillion and we've fallen 60 places, 50 places, whatever it is, because I can't remember exactly. It's around the 50 mark. Maybe it's only 45 places. Regardless, spending the amount of money we have throughout the states, the locals, and the federal government, our kids should be Einsteins. Every damn one of them should be an Einstein. We have Harvard University now offering remedial math classes because these kids coming out of high school that graduate and they have 4.3 or 4.5 GPAs get to Harvard and they can't even do math. How the hell is that possible? Or, listen to me here, or is it that Harvard has decided instead of being a creme de la creme of education in America, they had to lower their standards because of Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and the Democrat Party and their DEI mentality and ideology to allow people who are basically idiots based on their gender dysphoria and the color of their skin instead of their merit-based achievements. I'll put it on that one right now. Yeah, we need to get rid of the Department of Education. Very simply. Some more that I think we should get rid of, we'll talk about in just a second. How about the EPA? Not in the Constitution. Get rid of it. HHS, Health and Human Services. Get rid of it. Not in the Constitution. Education, gone. Labor, gone. NASA, gone. SBA, gone. Homeland Security, we have to discuss that one because whatever we have to do to protect the citizens of the United States from threats, foreign and domestic, we need to do, but we need to do it smart and make sure we do not violate American citizens' rights like they did against President Trump for 8 years. We can't allow that to happen. Department of Interior, national parks and stuff like that, we need to get rid of that and turn it over to the states. States need to be in charge of their own stuff within their borders and the land that's contained. BLM, not Black Lives Matter, though we need to get rid of that in all ways, shapes, and forms. Communist creeps. But we do need to get rid of the Bureau of Land Management and turn all the land over to the states. All land not being used for military bases or the federal government for courthouses, et cetera, need to be turned back to the states. That's just a few of them. There's a bunch more we need to get rid of. Just shut them down and eliminate them. They are not needed. They're not in the Constitution. If they are so important, and if you Democrats, you SOBs decide you say, oh yeah, but we have to have them because they're so important to America. Okay, well, if America agrees with you, then it should be a breeze to put this in the Constitution because I'm a firm believer. If you put it in the Constitution, we have to comply because it's the Constitution. I have to comply to the 16th and 17th Amendments, even though they are the worst amendments in the Constitution of the United States. Most destructive things we've ever put in there. But I'll comply with them. I will speak out against them. And speaking out is not treason. Speaking out is saying I disagree. But it's in the Constitution, so I have to defend and support that part in the Constitution. All these other things that aren't in the Constitution, if they're so important, if they're so valuable, if they do so much good, if they take care of the American people the way it's supposed to be done, then it'll be a breeze. All 50 states will sign on to that in 15 seconds. Put it in the Constitution. Then we have to fund it and stuff. If it's not there, get rid of it. And get rid of it as fast as we can. What really gets me going is doing this. Term limit. We need a constitutional amendment in there to term limit Congress. You can serve a total of 12 years. You can serve 12 years in any combination, period. 12 years as a senator, 12 years or 6 years as a House of Representative, then 1 term as a senator, and then you're done. And you know what you get when you leave? Nothing. You get nothing. Zip, zero, nada. You don't retire from Congress. You depart Congress. You get no pension. You get zero health care. You get zero on everything. Congratulations, you did your 12 years. We appreciate your service. Beat it. Go live in the mess that you created. You know, if we did that, these congressmen would have to go, wow, maybe I have to do a little bit better job because when I leave this politician stuff, if I've created a crap of stuff in the economy and stuff, I'm going to have to live under that and find a job in that, and that's going to be tough. Yep, exactly. How about you federal judges? Oh, you low-life federal judges that are violating the Constitution constantly, violating the separation of powers like you're doing against Donald Trump right now. Yeah, 12 years. You get 12 years, period. At the end of 12 years, you're gone. You get nothing. You get no pension. You get no health care. You get nothing. Get it? Get it, Ned? You want to be a part of it and you want to do some good, that's fine. But when you leave, you get nothing. You do it because you believe in it. These are the things we need to start working on. Just a few. Man, we could go down the line on all kinds of stuff. But those are the main things. So I'll bring this to a conclusion by saying these are just a few things that, I do want to talk about one part of there was one department, it's called Department of Commerce. And it's only in the Constitution because it says that Congress shall regulate commerce. A lot of people believe that means that we can have a Department of Congress that picks winners and losers. We can have Congress decide what the economy is going to do, what people shall do, what business can be worked, what light bulbs we can use, what toilets we can have, how much toilet paper are we going to get. Let me think. What else can they tell us? Cars. What kind of cars we should have, how many miles to the gallon they should have. Congress has this warped, weird thought on this that says that they should be able to do these things. That's not what it means. Congress shall regulate commerce. You know what that means? Regulate doesn't mean tell people what they can and can't do. Regulate means to keep things regular. Get out of people's way. Make sure that we have something there like a Security Exchange Commission so that people don't defraud people in the stock exchange. Make sure that the banking system is set up fairly. Make sure that regulations that are not passed telling people what they can do, but making sure that people aren't harmed by greedy business people or by the practices of anyone who is crooked, including Congress. All those things that Congress has put in there, telling people that cars have to have 25 miles to the gallon or 1,500 miles to the gallon, or you need to drive an electric car, and we're going to take and subsidize this vehicle over that vehicle. Incorrect, wrong, violates the Constitution. They just keep grabbing more and more power. The stuff that gets us excited is when we start doing these things, we start getting things removed from the federal government. We start making their power, their grasp, their reach, their intrusion more and more limited and cut back. They hate it. Boy, do they hate it. Look at what they're doing right now. Boy, are they fighting because they do not want to, lose any power, financing, anything like that. We have 2.5 million federal employees, not including all the federal people who are outside contractors. That total number, whatever that is, needs to be cut down to about, 700,000 to 1 million, not including the military. Military has a whole different function in this. I'm talking federal employees for agencies that are unconstitutional. We need to get rid of them. Eliminate, shut down, keep the money, transfer power back to the people and to the states and away from Washington, D.C. That is true conservative porn. We need to keep working on it. So anyways, that's this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Like it. Follow it. Subscribe. Let's keep this thing going. Stand as a voice. Stand firm. Stand against tyranny. Stand against evil. Stand against people who want to violate your rights, mainly Democrats and the federal government. Stand against anybody who would do any of those things. Don't be afraid. Anyways, that's it for now. And take it away, Talbot.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.